Hello, should we put them through the paces? I think we should. The cheap arsehole diamond sharpeners from, TEMU. You know, that weird kind of shopping app that, try to suck you into spending more money on a daily basis, actually, multiple times a day. Get rid of the app. It's a nightmare. Well, I have my record number 6. It's a 4-plane. And it happens to have hand-forged Victor plane irons in there, which are relatively hard plane irons, and they take a bit of work to get a good edge on them. So, that is the test subject, is going to be my record number 6, 4-plane. And we're going to be using this 2,500 grit, they say super fine, 75mm wide by 170mm long diamond sharpener. But also, we're going to be using this other one. They call it SY Tools. This one's 3,000 grit. Yet again, another diamond sharpener, both from TEMU. Now, these diamond sharpeners I have here, I bought several years ago. I think it's about 6 years ago I bought these. And that happens to be a 300, 400 and 600, but they're probably much finer now. They're worn, really worn. But they're still usable. They still do their job. They're just a bit finer, so they get better edge. Well, then there's this one here, which is also a cheap as Chinese sharpener, diamond sharpener, a bit like this one here, very, very similar. Now, that was 1,000 grit. It's probably more nearer to 4,000 grit now because it's worn. Like, all those are worn. Right. So let's put that to one side for a second. Hang on, I'll put it up here. And here's my hand plane, which is a lovely little tool it is. This is a record hand plane, and these are the plane irons it has in there. And these are the Victor hand-forged plane irons from Sheffield, and it happens to have a Clifton chip breaker. They're pimped up, they are. I pimped up this one. I pimped up my number 7 as well, and I also pimped up my Badger plane with these plane irons because they are so good. If you're going to spend some money pimping up your hand planes, that is the route you got to go. They are 3mm thick plane irons, unlike the 2mm thick ones as standard. And they just get fantastic edge. They really do. So, am I stupid? Sharpening using these cheap-ass Chinese diamond sharpeners? Probably. Because I normally do this all on oil and water stones for these particular hand planes. But no, I'm going to use these. They can't do too much damage because they're quite fine, aren't they? At the end of the day, it just means I might have to do a bit of extra work to bring them back to how I want them to be. If I have wrecked them. But anyway, should we get the plane iron out and see what we're going to do? And we're going to be using another cheap ass tool, which is, this is a Draper sharpener guide. And the reason why I'm choosing these tools, or these sharpeners and the guide, is because, well, I'm aiming this at people who can't afford to spend 150 quid on a diamond sharpener. That's a lot of money. Can't afford DMT or Tool Sharp, all the proprietary brands out there. Anyway, we'll sharpen it up and we'll test it on this bit of walnut. So, I've got my rubber mat down, I have, yeah, which happens to be a acoustic mat, I think it is, for a washing machine. That's what that is. So anyway, let's bring it into line. There we go. There we are, I think we're about right there. So, with our plane iron, which has got to be removed from its Clifton chip breaker. Got a bit of oil all over it because I've winterised my tools. I tend to put oil on my tools so they don't rust. Doesn't mean to say that you've got to actually take a bit of extra care regarding your work, because obviously you don't put oil over your work, do you? You know, that's what you don't want. Because of the oil on there, it's actually stuck it together a little bit. So a little bit of a tap on the side of it and that'll be fine. There we go. So I've separated that. Obviously not with a metal head hammer. That happens with a 4 hammer. So it's yeah, these are replaceable. You've got a nylon head on there and a rubber head on there. Yeah. Anyway, chip breaker, we don't need that for the moment. Although, if you are sharpening any cut for the first time, or you just bought your tool, you've got to make sure you chip break, especially those cheapy ones. I say cheap ones, like the original Stanley ones. The chip breakers are quite thin, so you need to make sure they're flat on the back. You need to do that on your oil stone or your diamond sharpener. But only do that if you've got a diamond sharpener that is flat. And the problem with these diamond sharpeners like this is that they're thin. They're only about 1 millimetre thick. I think that one's slightly thicker than that one looking at it. Very, very little in it, but I would say it probably is. I like that. Anyway, so this is 2.5, and that's 3,000. I'd have probably got a 3 or 4 or 5,000 on that one if it was available, but they didn't have any. That's the finest that went to. So I got the finest ones that they had in those two brands. This one's actually unbranded. There's no brand on there, and there's no brand on the bag. Is there anything on the bag? It just says made in China. Surprise, surprise. And a barcode. No, that's all that's in it. Yeah. And the other one was pretty much the same. I can't find it, but it was pretty much the same. This one says SY Tools on it. Whereas that one doesn't say at all. It just says 2,500 grit. Super fine. So we've got my rubber mat. Now ideally, with these rubber backs, you want to put this on something that you know is flat. If you've got a table saw, I mean a cast iron table saw or any cast iron tops, you could use that, but remember, because you'll be using potentially water with this or maybe using some Windex, Windlean, you could potentially make your machine tops rust. So make sure you dry them afterwards. Maybe treat them afterwards, put a bit of oil on them even. Stop them from rusting. So, I don't think I need to do any, don't know, that one's a bit, I might use something coarse to start with, or coarser, so I might use one of those, because these are only fine, because, I don't know, actually, maybe not. Well, I tell you what, we're going to try both of those, aren't we, on that plain iron. Now, my concern with these things, unless you've got something firm to put them on, so when you flatten the back, you need something, flat on flat. You think about that has to be flat to flatten the back of that. That has to be flat to flatten the back of that. So you need fixed to something that is flat. Now, considering the price of these things, you could buy a set, but also think of, hang on, what they're going to use it for. Now, if you're using it for your sharpening your router bits, for instance, you're not going to want to bond it to anything. You're going to want to leave it like that. You put it on the edge of your bench, and then you can run your router bits over the top of it, like and just flat, and sharpen that by polishing off the backs of the tungsten carbide, and that works. You want to leave it like that. But if you want to use it, say, purely for your plain irons or chisels, I'd be very tempted to remove that bit of foam off the back and bond it to something that you know is 100% flat. A bit marble even, I don't know, whatever you get hold of that is flat. The missus may be. Oh my goodness, did I say it loud? Oh my gosh, you won't watch this video. Oh, that's divorce. Oh, well, quite. Sorry, darling. Anyway, we have our two diamond sharpeners. We have our blade. Now, at the moment, the blade's got a bit of goo all over it. So what I'm going to use these other sharpeners up here just to clean it off. So I'll put these down here into the vice, I think. And I'll just get the gunk off it. I don't want to clog up the new diamond sharpener because I won't be fair on it. Because that oil has gone a bit congealed. I don't use the number 6 record plane so much. I mainly use my number 7. And the main difference between them is the length. That's my number 7 jointer. Yeah? And that's the number 6. So you say the 4 plane, jointer plane. Number 6, number 7. So, but I don't use the number 6 as much. I think that's the coarser one. Is that the 3? That's 3. So what we're going to do is we're just going to clean it off first using that. Now you see this block I've created here to mount these in. The reason why I've done that is so I can have these flat areas either side. So if you're using anything like this, as in one of these sharpeners, sharpening guides like this one, the little wheel in the back can ride over there. And you can make more use of the actual diamond sharpener. So bear that in mind when you're considering your placement for your diamond sharpeners. So I've used a bit of Windex on there, clean it up. I've got to make sure I've got a rag nearby. Oh, I've got one over here. I've got me a rag. Yeah. Oh my goodness, is it Mrs. Nichols again? I think it is. Anyway. So first of all, I'm going to clean this up to get the old grime off it, the old oil off it. And there's a bit sticking on the back there and bits of old like wood resin and stuff. So I'm going to flatten the back first a little bit first. And I don't normally sharpen these on these diamond sharpeners. I'll be honest with you. Normally do it on my set, which is over there. Behind here, I've got a set of 3. Got a set. It's a rig. I'll show you that one day actually, because it's actually really good. It's done with carriages. I made all carriages up to go with the actual stones, and also a water stone at the end, and that is fantastic. It works really well. It's a process, you see. But I'm thinking about people who think, well, I'm just getting into it. Got myself some tools, and they're not sharp. How can I make them sharp? Let's say, for instance, you bought tools that aren't, like high-end tools. quite often steel is actually pretty good, even in low-end, cheap budget tools. Steel's usually very good. Where they fail on is in the grinding of the machining of the tool. That's where they really fall short on. And quite often, if you're talking bevel edge chisels, the edge of the bevel is usually too thick. It should be thin. Otherwise, you might just have a firmer chisel, which is literally doesn't have a bevel. So I'm flattening the back off this plane iron, or plane blade, whatever you like to call it, wherever you are. I know Rob Cosman, I've heard him before, call it a plane blade. A blade. I always thought it was plain iron. And I thought that was a US thing, and someone said to me, no, we call it plain iron too, in the US. So maybe someone can tell me one way or the other. So anyway, we're flattening the back off. So I'm going to keep going until I know I've got all the grime off there for a start. And I've flattened it. It's quite important that you flatten the back. There's a little technique you can do as well, it's called Charlesworth technique, where you raise the plane iron, just touch. You work on just a fraction on the back, but you can just use a rule like this to do it as a spacer underneath. And you back grind it a little bit. Back polish it, sorry. Sharpen it. Hone it. We're just trying to make a tool sharp. Now, get some of this grime off there. I don't want to clog these new ones up, you see. We're going to be going over to the actual sharpening guide. I'm not a lover of sharpening guides unless I've made them myself. I make a wooden one with magnets in that works really well. I think I've showed it before. Here we are. This one's for chisels, but it works really, really well. You just basically slide it out and forwards. People say, "Oh, will it wear down?" No, it doesn't. Last donkeys, yes. And besides, you just make another one, don't you? So it's so simple. You're not like, at the end of the day, we have got into this mentality that in this throwaway world that we're in, that everything has to be bought. The people didn't used to buy stuff; they used to make it. My great-grandfather, Ernest Kett. He's worked in some places, I'll tell you. He's worked in Cabinetry Castle Museum in Norwich. He's worked on the Cathedral in Norwich. My father as well, not my grandfather, so I seem to skip my grandfather, even though he's a fantastic bloke. My father, he was a master craftsman as well. Stuff I've seen him make. I've got this lovely cabinet in my bedroom, and it's called a whatnot. It's like a little wall unit. And it's so intricately carved and what have you, and it's all jointed and curved. Little, what do you call them? Anyway, it's lovely. Okay, little turns, little finials and stuff all over it. Really, really ornate. Not one bit of glue used anywhere. It's just all jointed. It's a fantastic thing. It really is. I'll have to show you one day. But anyway, he was a master craftsman and been involved in some quite important things, really, I suppose, in Norfolk. So we're going to place the plain iron into the carriage. Now, let's say, for instance, you don't know what your angle is of your plain iron. You're looking at around 28 degrees is what you're going to want. Sometimes I go finer than that. I go down to 26 on the primary grind, and then down to about 28 on the actual sharpened edge on the micro bevel. So so that would be, traditionally that would be around 30 to 28. I'll go down to around 26 for the micro bevel. That's what I do, but it depends on your plane iron. Sometimes your plane irons can't actually cope with that level of sharpness on the edge. Makes them vulnerable. Whereas these hand forged ones. Now, the reason why I'm choosing these is because they're hard. And because they're hard, I thought, mate, I'll put it for its paces, wouldn't it? Huh? And let me just move that camera up a bit. I'm chopping my hat off. There you go, up a little bit. Just a touch, there you go. Bring this back now a bit, I suppose. There we go. That's better. I was feeling crushed, I was. Now, to set your angle, let's say it's already been ground, right? You already got your primary bevel on there, and you're quite happy, it looks about right. All you got to do is eye up on the side there, and you position your plane iron until you're satisfied it's laying almost flat on that point. Yeah? So it's flat on that primary bevel. Because what we're going to do, the first strokes, we're going to polish it off. All right? So, more about there. Just give me less room to move. Yes, back there. And we'll see as we go when the edge here changes, if we're in the right place or not. Now, the thing you've got to remember is, with your sharpener, the length of the sharpener dictates how far you can travel. Unless you mount it like I did in that block I showed you a moment ago. But obviously you can only sharpen to there, which means you're going to wear half the stone, not the other half. So remember to periodically spin it around. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I haven't tried these yet anyway, so they might be rubbish anyway. But like any of these things, they're not high-end stuff. They're not going to last as long, but there again, they're a fiver and not like 150 quid. All right, so it's up to you, isn't it? Really. And also, it's up to your balance, your bank balance. Can you afford some of these tools? Now, I'm already seeing a little bit of residue build up on there. I've got a place here where it's skipping. There's a little bit, there's something on there. There's a lump in it, just there. Is it a bit of diamond grit? I don't know. That will eventually disappear. It might be gone already, actually. It might be just something stuck to it. Yeah, I think it was. We will see. But already, if you look, even with this cheapy diamonds, there's a 2,500 grit. Can you see the colour change here? Well, that's metal. They're little tiny metal filings that's been taken off. I don't know how long this video is going to be, but say the V. It'll be how long ever it takes me to do this. I'm not editing this. Yeah, I don't want to be a liar, you see. I've had enough of lies in my life, and I want to make sure that you are confident that I'm not lying to you, because I won't lie. I won't, literally. Right, now, at the moment, I'm looking at this. I'm probably a little bit far down, but I'm just polishing the bevel at the moment. So it's probably okay. These are 2.5 inch plain irons. There's a bit of residue building up on these, you know, it don't seem to be clearing itself very well. Whether that's a problem, we'll see. It's definitely doing its thing. And I've still got that little bit of, that little lump in here. It's like a little bit of grit, which you don't really want, do you? Because you'll transfer that into your plain iron. So eventually that will disappear, obviously. It might be worthwhile just cleaning up a few old chisels and stuff first and try and put an edge on them and getting a bit of practice. That's the thing. So if you're new to, you know, to sharpening, that's all it is. It's mechanical. You get to feel it. You get a feeling for it. You know, you just know it's right. Do you know what I mean? And if you're working on site, you don't use. Generally, you would be using things like these guides, like this one here. This came in a set, actually, of chisels. My son bought me some chisels. I don't know why, but he did. I actually do use them. There's these Draper ones up here. They came with this Draper Chinese-type guide. They're not brilliant. They're all right. They work. But I'm just thinking, hang on. That's what a lot of people got, you know? Not everyone can afford expensive tools. I can't afford expensive tools anymore. I'm quite lucky, though, doing this channel. Some people are sending me stuff now, which we're doing videos of. So that's quite good. I actually got something very exciting coming. Yep, got the tracker number now, so it could be for the next couple of weeks or so. Spin that around. We've got a laser printer coming. Not one that prints on paper, no. One that engraves wood. One that's got a 20-watt laser on it. It'll actually cut through timber to quite a depth, actually, as well. So that is going to be quite exciting. Get that set up in here. So you could use it for personalisation of items, or you could use it for all sorts of stuff. This feels very... don't know what's going on here. Maybe there's some residue that's on there that's coming off. Maybe they put some coating on there, but I don't know if you can see that. It's bitty. Let's find a clean rag or tissue. There you go. Try that. See if that's any better. Where is it? Just in case it's come off Mrs. Knickers. Yeah. Scummy stuff. Oh, quite, that's a thought. Oh. Sorry. I can't help myself, I'm sorry. My poor wife. She does put up with a lot, you know, she does. She's such a good soul, though. She knows what I'm like, you know what I mean? She's, you know, she gives me as good as I give something. So anyway, it's doing the same thing again. You know, this is actually plain. I've never seen this before. Little tiny bits are building up. But it is sharpening, and it's flattening the the bevel on this plane iron, because this bevel was a bit rounded. Obviously, I've been doing it by hand by too much for too long, and it's rounded off the primary bevel. But I'm not too worried about that. So it does work. It's definitely as you see, that needs flattening off. That bevel does really, ideally. I think you can see that on there. But you can see the shiny bit where it's taken off. Now these are hard. I mean, these are hard plane irons. These aren't like the the standard Stanley ones. No, these are Victor's hand forged plane irons, and they're So what we're going to do now, I'm going to lift it a bit, because I'm not going to polish that off completely, because we need. Otherwise, I'll be here all night, and it'll be a very, very long video. It's going to be long enough as it is. So I'm going to bring it onto its micro bevel. Now, I normally use a gadget, right? I normally use this, which is a digital angle finder. I do recommend it. Everyone should buy one of these. These things are brilliant. You literally zero it onto wherever it's going to be. Just about 0. There you go. It's 0 now. All right. And then you place that on there, and you decide yourself what is the angle you want that to be. So let's turn it around, you can see. And then you can set the angle, or how high or how low it's going to be, by sliding that backwards and forwards. Now, once you've actually got your angle, and if you're using a guide like this, all right, there's something else you can do, all right? You can do it on your bench. You can have a piece of wood dedicated for it. But either way, let's say if it's this piece of wood here, what you do is, you say, that's how far I want it out. You press that along against a piece of wood like so, okay? But then grab a pencil. Touches up, I'll do. Grab a pencil and mark it. You could even screw a piece of wood to it if you like a stop. But yeah, that'll do. Put a pencil on there and mark it there. So when you actually set your plane iron in its guide, you can just push it up to that line and tighten it up. And it'll be in exactly the same angle every single time, no matter how worn the plane iron is. Stops are better if you just screw a little bit of wood or block, or a little pin, a little bit of block of wood on there, and that'll give it your angle. And then it's quick, you see, it's really quick to set up. But we're not doing that at the moment, so I just thought I'd show you, because it's just a little technique that makes things easier for people. And I want life to be easy for people. Life is too tough and too hard as it is. We don't need it to be any harder. So at the moment it's saying it's 29 degrees. I generally go a little bit, 28 I normally go. 28 to 26 I normally go. I'm going the wrong way. 26. You can't see that, but I can. So, okay, there we are. But there, that's near as damn it. Right, that was 20. That was just over 26. You never get 100%. You know what I mean? Because it's just we're talking about like tenths of a degree, which are tiny amounts. But hopefully that'll be in the right place. It doesn't take too long to do. So this is the 2,500 grit. We'll go on to the 3,000 grit in a minute. Where's that? I think that looks about in the right place. That looks good. And it's clearly removing material, because I can see the black, the grayness of the little micro grinds. My worry would be, is it flat? So that I would personally, like I mentioned earlier, have something that you know is flat. It could be a bit of plate glass or a piece of machined marble or something that you know is flat. I would then take that plastic off. I would then get some Evo stick or something like that, or track mark adhesive, and bond that and clamp that down tight to that plate. So you know that every single little area, there's no bows in it, there's no bends in it or anything. It is flat. You want that flat. So when we go backwards and forwards there, it's taking off metal, which is a good sign. Otherwise it'd be doing nothing. And remember, this is 2,500 grit, so it's very fine. I'm not, it's not like I'm trying to grind it as such. And you can see it already. I haven't done it for very long, have I? This is real time, this is. So if you can see, you see the primary grind that isn't finished because it got a bit haywire on sort of in the middle of that bevel. But you can see the bevel, how it's, not bevel, the micro grind, how it's forming nearer the edge. In fact, quite quickly. So you guys quick, you're not going to catch a line. No. Just make sure you lubricate. You've got to lubricate your tool, all right? Lube your tool. In fact, I've got a t-shirt with that on. Yeah. In the merch. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you've got to lube your tool. All right, here we go. Backwards and forwards. So it's coming there. And it's going there. It's getting there. That's it, it's getting there. Right. So what I tend to do you see what I just did this then? I lifted it up because I was building up a load of liquid at one end. I didn't want to make a mess, and also I need to reuse it. So I just lifted the blade up slightly like so, rolled over the top, and I brought it back so I can then reuse, not reuse, but you know, so we don't have to keep squirting it. We keep moving then, you see. We don't need to worry about having to do something else. And it's all about time, you see, these days. Time is money. Yeah. But I'm mainly interested in those who is just starting out and haven't really done anything like this before. I'll tell you what I've noticed though, that little bit, that was a problem, is gone. Yeah, that's gone. That's handy. So it's no, yeah, that's okay now. But is it flat? I don't know. These flexible kind of sharpeners like that, you know, are not likely to be flat, are they? They just aren't. See, sources of courses, really. It needs to be bonded to something. Now be careful with the ones that are bonded to plastic bases. They all look fancy and all that. Or you can turn them over. Don't bother with them. You know, you get in the heat and they distort. Nah. It needs to be on some ceramic, piece of machined iron or something like that, bonded to. Now, I like weight in my tool. I do. So does the missus. That's why she's disappointed. Anyway. Well, we're up to the edge. I feel it now. And I'm now getting the burr on the back. So, actually, considering it's 2,500 grit, it's done that really quickly on a hand-forged plane iron, which generally takes quite a long while. Yeah, I don't know how long the video is, but this is real time, this is, you know. You get more of me, ain't you lucky? Yeah, we're up to the edge now. I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. I'm pretty impressed actually. It's actually not bad. I haven't done the I haven't honed it yet. You know, stropped it yet. So yeah, that's not bad at all. A little bit more, I think, and then we'll move on to the 3,000. Or should I put it in a plane and see if we can plane it with the 2,500? Because 2,500 to 3,000, there ain't a lot in it, to be honest. And we don't know how accurate it is either, do we? You know, these are Chinese. Chinese shit, isn't it? It's not exactly going to be great, is it? No. You know. So Chinese shit is a bit... That's unfair to say Chinese shit, really, isn't it? It's more like, well, it's shit from China. That's what it is, isn't it? Shit. Oh, well, anyway, whatever it is. Now, I'm now taking it off there, so that's going to alter my position. But I have put a line on that piece of wood. So let's flatten the back a little bit with the not flat. Ugh, just got me in the face. The not flat sharpener. You can feel the burr. As soon as you touch that, you can feel that burr. It grabs, you see, then it disappears. And then back again. Gently. All I'm doing is moving the burr. It's like a wire edge that you create, you know, because you've been sharpening in one direction, effectively folds metal over, and you need to remove that. You don't want to leave the wire edge, even if it's pointing in the right direction, because it'll just bend over the edge and make the edge blunt. So is it possible to sharpen a hand-forged plane iron with a £5 diamond sharpener? I would say probably yes, but it needs a bit of stropping first. Yes, I'm stropping in my hands. Yes, I have slipped up occasionally. And I have bled myself. Yeah, that's not usually a good idea. But what I'm doing is, if there's any wire edge left, that burr, I'm basically bending it one way and then the other way. Yeah? So you're stroking up and down. Up and down. If you're not confident with this, get yourself a piece of old leather. Or old granny or something. You have to dig her up first and then use that. Yeah. You want to tan the leather first as a strop. You can buy strops, it's not a problem. You buy leather strops. Or an old belt. Now I've got this old thing here as well. This is a piece of old bridle from an oxen. I found in the barn. I've also got a piece of it mounted in a board at the back here with my sharpening set as well. And I put a bit of paste on it, and that works brilliantly as well. But, you know, if you're out and about, or if you haven't got that stuff, this is another way of doing it. But be warned, you could cut yourself if you're not paying attention. I can feel that. It feels nice. Okay, is it any good? You know, could it be sharpened more? Well, probably could. You know, but this could be a bit of a test. So I'll put it back in the plane. We're going to go on to the 2.5 grit as well in a minute. Or actually, it might make sense to make that a different video, actually. Yeah, because this is getting long, isn't it? Anyway, in there it goes. Where's my chip breaker? Oh, it's here. Bring out the chip breaker. This is by Clifton. Clifton hand planes, if you can still get them. I haven't seen them about for a while. Are absolutely fantastic. You want about 2 to 3 mil space between chip breaker and the edge of your blade. Not 1 mil, like I see some people do. If you want your plane to clog up, that's what you do. Don't do that. You shouldn't even do that, to be honest. What I'm doing at the moment, you should use a screwdriver. And your chip breaker needs to be tight enough so pieces of wood don't get caught between the chip breaker and the plane iron. Especially on the cheaper. So I keep calling cheaper, they're not actually cheaper, but like for instance the old Stanleys and what have you. It's horses for courses, isn't it? You know, having the right tool for the right job, and sometimes you have to spend money, and sometimes you don't. But sometimes you don't have to spend money, and you can just make it so it works. You know, take a bit of time, a bit of learning, but you can make it work. I might actually have that plane iron too far down up the actual chip breaker. Look at that. Right. Right, are we there? Let's have a look. It's just touching. It's a sawn edge. It's not flat. On a bit of wood, that is. It's a bit of walnut. Can we get full length shavings out of it? Is that a line? Not quite. You've got your lever for your skew. That's it there. No, I think most people would be quite happy with that. Oh, go to the end marks. A bit of candle wax on the bottom of your, on the sole of your hand plane's a good idea sometimes, but not if you're doing a glue up. Do you know what? I think they're good enough, don't you, really? So that is a 2,500 grit. Oh, it did go to the end, look, but look at that. So I'll bring it out. Let's show you. So anyone who tells you they're no good, they don't work, they're lying, because they do work. That's a lovely thin shaving, as you can see, you know. I could enter that for them Japanese competitions, can I? Or maybe not. But, you know, it's, it works, you know. And if you can produce a shaving that is that thin, you know, see light through that. I've got a light. Oh, I ain't at the moment. Damn it. Anyway, but you can see light through it. I'm looking for a light now. Yeah, really fine shaving. Do you know what? For most people, that's more than good enough. It really is. And I didn't go on to the 3,000 grit. I'm not going to worry about that. I'll make another video about that one, but not straight away. For a little bit later. Else people get bored of these sort of videos. So anyway, that is my record number 6 hand plane. It's jammed in there because I didn't do my full stroke. Yeah, watch that. If you don't go straight to the end with your hand plane like I didn't on that one, what happens is you end up with a little bit of wood stuck between the plane iron and the actual in the mouth of the plane. So, yes, I've got the plane blade down, but on top bit of wood, don't worry. Normally I put it on this rubber mat, actually, to be fair. But yeah, don't let people tell you otherwise, you know. Give it a go. That's what I say. It doesn't have to be expensive woodworking, you know. It's sometimes we can manage. You know, and if you can't afford to get the good stuff, get the good stuff. But if you can't, just give it a go. £5. A £5 for that. You know, that was from TEMU, all right? TEMU, whatever you call it. Yeah, with the spinny app thing that makes you try and buy all sorts of stuff. I think that was worth a £5. And if you always relegate it later for something that don't matter so much. Brilliant for doing your kitchen knives on and stuff. So there you go. Anyway, I've got to go this way, okay? Toodaloo!